Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wuthering Waves. In today's video, I wanted to talk about upgrading echoes, my process for upgrading them, and minimizing the cost that you have, because echo experience and tuners are two very scarce resources. And after my last video, where I had a lot of people commenting saying that they valued echo experience more than the tuners, I figured I wanted to make a whole video going through the process to maintain as much of that echo experience as you can, because yes, it is scarce, but I do find that tuners are the more scarce resource, and I want to go through my entire process for upgrading echoes, which ones I select, how far I go on them, and all that stuff. So hopefully you guys can sort of be a bit more efficient with your upgrading in case you are burning a ton of resources and feeling absolutely left out. I'll also go through a couple places where you can feel safe to pick up some extra echo experience if you have made the couple of mistakes and burnt too much of it. So let's get into the video. So first of all, when we go to upgrade echoes, the first thing I want to talk about is the biggest thing that I think you should avoid, especially as free to play. Paid players, you can buy a ton of echo experience, so this is a bit different. But I avoid going to level 25 on echoes. As you can see here, I have not gone to level 25 on any of my echoes. Level 20 is the highest I will go, and I will only go to level 20 on a really good substatted piece, or some of the ones here are early pieces that I got, and I just wanted to beef up my GR to help me farm and stuff like that. Besides that, you only want to be rolling really good pieces with really good substats. And like I said, level 25 I think is a little bit of a waste. When we look at, especially early on, eventually when you get those god pieces, yes, you will want to. But when we're looking at building out multiple DPS, and that is the other thing, you want to focus on your DPS first. Mainly, most people will be the first DPS and then the second DPS, because you're going to have two teams primarily at the early stages of the game when we look to TOA or Trial of Adversity, because, you know, the third team doesn't come in for a long time. Until we're, you know, union level 40/50. We'll have to wait and see when people start clearing that realistically. So only two characters what you really need to focus on at the start. Keep in mind as well, when you are going through Tower of Adversity, which is the main sort of end game mode, you can swap your gear sets between characters, between teams. So if you have a support set that you end up building, you can swap that onto your other supporter. If you have a healer set, you can swap that onto your other healer. So just keep that in mind when you are building sets. For instance, I have a wind set here on Jian, which sometimes I will just go ahead and I will slap it on Jian Xin because she is wind and she can benefit from it as well. So those are some things to keep in mind. But like I said, I don't recommend going to level 25 on these things. If we go to upgrade this guy and I show you, you can see how much experience this is going to cost me by the time I get it to level 25. If we go all the way, there you go. It's like 65,000 experience, sorry, all up. It is a ton of experience. And as you can see, that is going to take me from 18.4% crit damage to 22% crit damage, which is not, like, that is such a minute increase when we look at it, at about 3.6%, unless my math has failed me, but I think I'm right. And then we get another, what's that, like 24 attack. So when we're looking at 3.6 crit rate on a character for that much experience cost, and if we find a piece that has crit rate, you can see this one substat roll has 6.9. So essentially with that, you're getting about half a substat roll into your main stat, which to me is not worth that amount of experience. I feel like you're better off looking for better substats on pieces of gear and only taking your god pieces of gear to that level 25. For instance, this monkey, I will never take him to 25. I'm going to get a better one before I go for that. This one, I'd be kind of tempted, but we'll talk about why in a second. So for DPS characters, this is the next thing I want to go into. First tip, if you're struggling on experience, it's probably because you've gone to level 25. I would avoid level 25 for a long time as free to play. Just keep in mind, like, considering we're a week in, a lot of people are getting to the stage of having full yellows and upgrading them. I mean, it's going to take you a while to get there. So just keep that in mind. 25 is a very long-term thing or a whale type thing. Or if you get the absolute god roll, then maybe you can think about it. But let's go through DPS characters. That's what I'm going to focus on here, because I feel like early on, that's what most people are going to focus on, is your DPS character. You want your DPS character on the relevant set for them. I have my Jian on the Aero set. Pretty self-explanatory. Now, obviously, with most DPS characters, you're going to want crit rate or crit damage on the 4 cost. You're going to want the damage specific type on the 3 cost, and you're going to want attack on the 1 costs. Just keep in mind, you can put attack on these if you are struggling, because it is an absolute nightmare to go ahead and get these aero damage pieces on an aero damage set. It absolutely does my head in. So attack is a little bit of an overall damage loss, but it's not so crazy that if you're getting frustrated, if you're playing more casually, if you don't have as many, you can go do it. Also, the other thing you can do is you can go over to, if you want to get a couple straight away, that's what it's called, the Depths of Elusive Realm. So over in this one, you can go to the shop here, and mine have disappeared, but you can actually buy out 2 select ones, which basically give you 6 options to select a echo from, and they are specified. When you read the description of it, it tells you which one is which, and they are specified. So it's like, it's going to be arrow set with arrow damage, or, ice set with ice damage. So you can choose the right set and damage type, which is fantastic. And you can buy 2 of them out of this store. And this is one of those other places where you can actually go ahead and buy these experience. Based on my calculations, you can actually buy out the entire shop for the month. So yeah, like this shop's a free one. Get your tuners, get your premium tubes and your advanced tubes as well. So that is that one. If you do need some, you can go there to get yourself a couple straight away to have a roll at. But once again, you are going to take a while rolling these things. So once again, on DPS, that's your main stats you're going to be looking for. As for substats on DPS, from the calculations I've seen, the main stats you want to look for on all DPS are going to be crit rate, crit damage, and attack percent. They are the big 3. Then if you want to call it a big 4, energy regen is the other big one. Up until you can get onto energy regen to levels that cycle your character well. Every character is going to be different for that, but crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and energy regen are going to be the big ones. Now, besides that, some good ones that to look at are flat attack is still decent, nowhere near as good as attack percent, but it is still decent. And then the other one is going to be whatever type of damage your character specializes in. For instance, my Jian deals most of his damage through heavy attack damage. So heavy attack is going to be a very beneficial one for him. Then this piece, as you can see, has attack percent, another great one, crit rate, another great one. And then, I've got 1 roll left in it. But like I said, crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and energy regen, then flat attack, and whatever their main source of damage is. Those are the ideal ones you're going to be looking for on your characters. So when I roll these echoes, and I'm about to roll one to show you. Basically, early days, you can unlock a few more substats, level them to like 15 or 20 if you want, even if they're not great rolls. But ideally, I want to get at least 2 of the big ones before I go to level 20 of them. And then once I'm in this situation with my Jian, I'm looking for 3 of the big ones. I'm looking for crit damage, crit rate, and attack percent, or maybe 2 of the big ones and 1 of the sub ones with like flat attack or, heavy attack damage in Jian's case. So for instance, this piece is a pretty average piece. First roll was great. Crit damage, perfect. Then we got basic attack damage bonus. Not great for him. Attack, that's okay. HP, bad. I'm not going to go with this piece. This will be scrapped. This piece is actually really decent. Heavy attack damage bonus is like a 0.5 for him. And then attack is a +1. Crit rate's a +1 when we look at the value that these bring. Resident skill damage isn't that great on Jian, so that's not a great one. But this is all round, honestly, a pretty good piece. And if I had the resources, I would probably up this one to 25 and just roll the dice for an energy regen or a crit damage. This one here, pretty average in general. It does have 2 of the big ones though, so it's one stat below this one because it's got crit damage, which is a big one, energy regen, which is a big one, and then it's got none of my sub ones that I'm looking for. But once again, it's not bad because considering the arrow set with the arrow damage is really hard to get. As we move over here, heavy attack bonus, great. Energy regen, great. Crit rate, great. The only bad substat I've got on this one is HP, so that's not a bad piece. This one over here, substat attack, okay. Crit rate, great. The rest of these 2, pretty average. So this one definitely needs to be replaced. Luckily it is on the 1 cost, which is the easiest one to replace. But that gives you a bit of a look at what you're looking at. Now, my process for rolling these, which I'll do one now because I picked one up and show you guys. So you can see here, I've got some over here that I've rolled, and you can see, you don't be afraid if you're still early on and you roll 2 horrible substats to still increase this to level 15, just to go ahead and get that damage boost, because then you can feed it off later on. And when you feed these off, you basically get 75% 75% of the experience you put in, and you refund 30% of the tuners. So if you've unlocked one substat, which costs 10 tuners, when you feed this character off, or this Echo off, you will get 3 tuners back. So if I feed this guy off, I will get 75% of the experience that I put into him, plus I will get 6 tuners back because I unlocked 2 substats. I'm just holding on to them for now because it's still early days and I don't have a ton. But let's go to one where I've got another arrow with arrow. I believe I had one here. No, it might be this guy. Yes, so here is an arrow set with arrow damage. So what I do is I normally go ahead and upgrade. Now on the 3 costs, I will go a bit deeper. And I will normally unlock 2 substats to check, but because my 2 ones are actually decent, I might not do that. As you can see, I am starting to run short on my tuners with only 207 left, but I'm going to unlock that first substat. Okay, crit rate. That is perfect. So we are 100% going to upgrade this and get another one. No, we do not hit auto. Do not hit auto, my bad. So now I'm going to go up to 10. Boom. I think 10, that's perfect on the dot. Okay, so we're going to unlock another substat. Now this one, to be fair, I will probably go to 3rd substat no matter what this rolls, because I do have one of the big 4 on there as the first one. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to unlock a new one, and we got defense percentage. That sucks. But once again, because these 3 costs are so rare and hard to come by, just because farming them is an absolute bitch, because I do have that crit rate, if I had crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, or energy regen, I'm probably going to roll this to 3 no matter what. Now if this was a 1 cost, I'd probably scrap it there because you get so many 1 costs to play around with. So let's go ahead and upgrade this one. 215. And then we go out unlock. And now we want to see either heavy attack damage. Heavy attack damage is a low priority, same with flat attack. But ideally, we want crit damage, attack percent, or energy regen on this one to be ideal. And we got a flat defense. So that piece there is a scrapped piece for me. The reason being now, if we look at it, especially for some people, if that was your first piece, you'd equip that. Maybe you could even upgrade it to level 20 for the arrow damage and not unlock another substat. But when you got 2 shit stats, you don't want to use that. And if we look at my pieces, this one has 2 of the ideal stats and 1 sub-ideal stat. And this has 2 ideal stats. You know, this one I was a bit desperate on rolling for the 4th stat to get that energy regen. But because this other piece, this one here, only has crit rate, it only has 1 of the ideal stats, that's just a scrap piece. I go ahead, I feed that into the next one. Once again, I'd probably just feed this one first because this is my better sub option in case I get another arrow damage dealer. You can see this one I rolled into basic attack damage bonus. Now if you're desperate, you could go into a second, but I'm starting to get fussy because I do have 2 decent ones, so I'm not even going to roll that another time because it's just 1 really bad substat for him already. The reason I'm holding on to this one is in case I get an arrow damage dealer in the future whose main damage source is basic attack damage, well then this becomes a decent roll and then I will extend this one further. But that is the basic gist behind it. Like I said, you just want to aim for those really high priority stats. You don't want to level straight to 25. Like I said, 3 costs, I feel like going to level 10 and unlocking 2 substats on any of them is a pretty fair game because they are so hard to come by. You can get more fussy on these ones as well, the 4 costs, because they are much easier to farm and target, and you can get much fussier on these ones as well because, you know, they're just more plentiful and easier to get because there's only 3 main stats that you can go get on them, being attack, HP, and defense, and you just need attack essentially. So that is what I look at. Once again, I look at focusing on your main DPS first, and as you can see here, the next character I've started working on is over here with my rover. You can see I've got this one with crit rate and energy regen, which is honestly pretty decent bonuses on this one. I'm pretty happy with that. Dreamless. This one I got crit damage and energy regen. Unfortunately, I didn't hit the attack percent or crit rate on the next 2, but honestly, I'm pretty happy with this piece. You can see that this one is actually an attack piece, which is a little bit suboptimal, but I was getting so frustrated trying to farm the havoc damage. It's a bit of a damage decrease, but because it got decent substats, I will leave it there. But because it is an attack main stat, I will not take that one to level 25. This one is havoc damage, but as you can see, we got attack percent, which was fantastic. And then unfortunately, we didn't roll any of the other big ones, so I left it there. Over here, this one got absolute trash, left it. This one got crit damage. I rolled 2 more to see if I can get another one. And we rolled trash. So now I am more focusing here on my Havoc set. But as you can see, we haven't had too much luck in this one. And that is the other thing, guys. It is a ton of RNG. And like I said, even though I do want to ideally get like crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, energy regen, at the end of the day, you will start running out of your tuners. As you can probably see with my account, I am starting to run out of tuners. If I go to this one here and I just tune, for instance, to show you guys, I am down to 177. So I've got 17 substats left that I can roll. So I am starting to get super fussy, but once again, you'll see that I still have not run out of my Echo experience because I have been using it sparingly and not using it on getting to level 25, because that is where the massive cost is. Now, once again, if you have burnt all your Echo experience and you want to, recoup some because you're like, I have 0 experience, the main place you can go to is, once again, what's the place called? I always call it Simulated Universe. The depths of Elusive Realm. So obviously you can go here, you can just basically farm the high difficulty stages and get as many as you can. You can see I still haven't done the level 70. These are actually really easy. I have Gian, which makes it super easy. I don't know how it is with other characters, but yeah, you can just farm this and get your materials. Once again, that can get you more tuners and it can get you more of the sealed tubes, which is fantastic. Now, the other one that we do have is over at, boom, if we go back here and we go to the shop, the store, and we go to the point shop, we have this one here. So this is going to be your Tower of Adversity shop. I recommend 100% prioritizing these ones here, the gold tuners. Like I said, experience is an issue, but I think tuners are going to be the big clutch for everyone. So I would prioritize buying them out first. And as you can see, I've bought all these out, but I haven't bought any of the tubes for experience. The reason being, I've only got 190. I'm not going to get any more of these in this run, and I would rather save up to guarantee myself to next month be able to buy out the premium tuners again, and then from there we can start going into the advanced sealed tubes. But this is definitely my priority over in this shop. But once again, you can buy them out. Now, there is one other shop that you can actually go to pick some up. Actually, the other one is, for instance, if we go back over into the shop, you can actually pick some up through point shop, the simulated training. So I've only done the hologram fights that I was required to for the guidebook, but if you push through more of the hologram fights, once again, you can get some more tuners, which are fantastic. You can get some more sealed tubes and you can get some more advanced sealed tubes. So these are fantastic as well to go ahead and stock on those resources if you are struggling. And then the final one, and let me know if you guys have anywhere else. I know there is, like, you get them through events, achievements. There's a ton of places where you do actually end up getting this stuff. But if we go over here and we go to this shop, the souvenir store, let's just go track on that, and I'll just quickly fly there and show you guys. But you can pick some up here. So this is basically your exploration resources that you're going to get these from, and that is going to be the place you go. Now, I definitely prioritize when you're comparing Echo experience to just about anything else, being like, weapon experience or whatchamacallit? Weapon experience or character experience. I think the Echo experience is definitely the one to go for. But if we go over here, I want to buy souvenirs. You can see here, once again, we can get some premium tuners, which is fantastic. You can actually get a ton of them. This is what I would personally prioritize. As you can see, that's going to cost us 500, but then we can get some tubes as well. As you can see, you can get 50, and that is going to cost you 180. So you can pick up some of these things here as well to really stock up in case you have burnt everything that you have and you are really struggling for experience. Like I said, the main reason people are going to have experience issues is because they went to level 25, but just keep in mind, if you are rolling for better pieces, is you can feed those ones that you've already leveled up for a 75% refund on the experience. So it's not the absolute end of the world. But that pretty much summarizes the way I've been going about it. Once again, for your DPS characters, crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and energy regen are the big ones, followed by flat attack and whatever their primary source of damage is. And those are the big ones you want to be aiming for as substats. Like I said, if you get 2 bad substats, don't keep rolling on them. If you get 1 really good substat, roll another 2 beyond that and see. But as you get better and better gear, your requirements are going to go up, and eventually we will get to the stage where you're only rolling that piece of gear for to the first substat. If you get one of the big 4, you roll it again, and then you only keep rolling if you keep getting the big 4, because eventually we will be looking to get, once you get into the very end game, attack percent, crit rate, crit damage, energy regen on every piece, along with your ideal type of damage. That's when we get super sweaty end game. Keep in mind, at the moment, you're still trying to progress through, so having not the greatest substats still isn't the end of the world. But once again, avoid that level 25 and you should be pretty good for experience. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.